If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes a sacrifice. Welcome to another episode of Success Secrets of the Self-Employed. Midweek Motivation Edition with me, your host, Marcus. On today's episode, we're going to talk about making sacrifices. And how making sacrifices will help you to become more successful in your life and move forward, okay? Now, there's a price to be paid for falling short of a goal, okay? I want you guys to succeed and to be successful, you got to make sacrifices, okay? If you're going to be self-employed, or if you want to be self-employed, you got to make sacrifices. You got to sacrifice your time, your money, your energy, all sorts of things. You got to sacrifice, your willingness to look good in front of people. Like, you got to sacrifice a lot if you're going to be successful, okay? Now, I want to tell you, if you're watching this, you're either one of probably three things. You either are self-employed, want to be self-employed, or you're just interested in general success. Now, I got something for all three of y'all, okay? But in the first step, I want to talk about people who want to be self-employed, all right? The number one sacrifice I think that people who are not self-employed, who want to be self-employed, who have to make to become self-employed, remember, I've been self-employed for 4 years now, is that you got to give up your cushy corporate job if you're going to be successfully self-employed, okay? This is my story, okay? When I was 23 years old, I quit my cushy, comfortable corporate job in Atlanta. I made around $40,000 a year at 23, which is decent. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather be self-employed than collect this cushy paycheck. I was like, I'd rather be uncomfortable and live the life I actually want for a little bit than to be comfortable and never know what could have happened. Okay, I want to say this to you today. Don't trade your calling for comfort. For those of you who want to be self-employed, who have an internal drive to become self-employed, don't let that cushy paycheck keep you from the life you really want, a life of freedom, peace, and adventure. That's what the life of being an entrepreneur really is. Okay, it's awesome. There are drawbacks to it. It's not all amazing like everything else, but it is cool. So this is my story. I quit when I was 23 years old. It was April of 2017, honestly 4 years ago. I was 23 years old, and I was just like, man, I know this is gonna hurt, but I just gotta do it. And then guess what? For a long time, I had very little money. I was not making a lot of money when I first started. I had to give up my Roth IRA. I had to cash that out to have money to fund the business. But guess what? 4 years later, I'm going pretty strong, okay, from that sacrifice. And it was a hard time. A lot of times I had to sacrifice, going out to buy stuff, sacrifice buying things I wanted that were going to make my life easy. Or going out to have fun, I had to sacrifice that. I didn't have the money to spend. I had to just focus on working. And I'm going to tell you that it worked out, okay? Because if you're going to be successful, you got to be willing to go through the wilderness, all right? You can't get to the promised land without going to the wilderness, all right? You can't get to the happy place you want without going through the wilderness. And part of the wilderness is making sacrifices, okay? You gotta sacrifice time, money, sleep, all sorts of stuff if you're gonna be successful, all right? Now, for those of you who are self-employed, one of the biggest sacrifices you're gonna have to make is time. If you're gonna be successful as an entrepreneur or self-employed person, you gotta put a lot of time into. I'm talking 50 to 80 hours a week. This is what it takes to be self-employed, okay? It's a lot of time, but it's worth it if you're doing what you love and you also make money off it. And also, if you're watching this video, please tune in to the end, because at the end, I'm going to give you a bonus tip for those of you who stated one of the biggest sacrifices you have to make if you're going to be successful in life. It's not what you think, all right? Now, remember, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. Now, think to yourself in your life today, what thing do you want in the future, and what are you willing to sacrifice for? I'll tell you a secret. The more you're willing to sacrifice, the faster that goal will happen, okay? The more you sacrifice, the faster your goal will happen. To remember, time is always passing by, okay? Think to yourself today on this Wednesday as you're at work. If you want to be self-employed, are you willing to give up that cushy corporate job? Are you willing to give it up? The paycheck you get every 2 weeks, are you willing to give that up for a better life? Okay, a lot of us think we make a sacrifice. Oh man, I'm giving up this thing. We don't talk about, we think about the detriment of giving up the thing we want, but we don't talk about the benefit of what we're gaining. If you're trying to learn a new language, you got to give up your willingness to look stupid in front of others. I remember I took a Spanish class back in Atlanta learning Spanish. You have to give your willingness to look bad, your aversion to looking bad, for a proficiency in a language. And if the proficiency in a language is greater than what you're giving up, then the sacrifices were. There's so many sacrifices everywhere. If you're a parent, you got to give up, some of your time, peace, and freedom for your kid. These are all things to think about, because guess what? If we don't sacrifice what we want becomes a sacrifice, okay? Remember, I want you guys to be happy and get the life you want and be free, okay? I'm not rich. I'm not a millionaire, self-employed person yet, but I am free in terms of the sense I don't have a boss telling me I can't do what I don't want to do. I have adventure in my life, okay? Being self-employed is not easy, but it is a cool life, okay? It's very different. You get to put your unique imprint on things. If that's what you want, go after, okay? Now, as I said, if you tune into the end of this video, I'm going to talk about one of the biggest sacrifices you have to make if you want to be successful in life. And guess what? That is giving up your ego. That is giving up what you think. I heard someone say you're either going to be rich or you're going to be right. Most of us would rather be right than get the life we want, be rich. There's something to think about in your life. Are you giving up? Are you sacrificing being rich for being right? You have to be right about everything? You've had someone talk to you like, oh, I know that. If you knew that, how come you're not living that? These are things that we got to think about as we ventured out into our life. I had to learn a lot. I had to give up a lot of my things I held dear, beliefs I held dear to become successfully self-employed. My life's been going up like this slowly. It hasn't been a fast progression, but it has been slow, steady growth, and I'm going to help you become successful because remember, there is a price to be paid for falling short of a goal, okay? Because you can't be successful, all right? You're either going to be rich or you're going to be right. Your choice. I'd rather be rich and have the life that I want than be right. It's okay if someone's smarter than me, if someone's better than me, if someone can teach me things. Most of us can't be taught by other people because we're just like, we know everything. We think we're better than everybody. There was a long time in my life where I thought I was better than everybody I met, just be honest. And we got to be humble if you're going to be so. You got to be willing to learn from, whether it's a 7-year-old, whether it's a tuba player, whether it's a trombone player, whether it's a biker, anybody at any given time. We got to be willing to humble ourselves and learn from others and see how can they teach me to be successful instead of being like, this person's I'm already better than them. They can't teach me. That's something a lot of us think. I thought that for a long time and it kept me down. Okay. Remember, it's good things inside of you that bring you up and it's bad things in you that bring you down because you can't be successful. Okay. Now remember, in closing, if you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, family, anyone who's interested in being self-employed, becoming self-employed, finding success as a self-employed person, or just general success at all. And last, I usually end with my successful quote. I'm gonna end with this quote that's on my tagline in the video, in the banner. Okay, be bold, do what the ordinary fear. Okay, you can become successful in anything you choose to do. All right, I'm gonna help you and give you strategies for that. I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed for 4 years now. Okay, I know what it's like. I've been through the trials and tribulations. I can help you get over the mountain to see you bring happiness and success and enjoyment to your life. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.